In 1915, a 23-year-old black woman stood in a laboratory at the University of Hawaii, about to make a discovery that would save thousands of lives. Within months, she would develop the first effective treatment for leprosy. Within years, her name would be erased from history, her breakthrough credited to a white man. This is the story of Alice Ball, the forgotten genius who changed medicine forever. Alice Augusta Ball was born in 1892 in Seattle, Washington, at a time when being both black and female meant facing nearly insurmountable barriers in science. But Alice was exceptional from the start. She grew up in a middle-class family that prized education, with a photographer father who passed down his love of chemistry through his work with light-sensitive developing solutions. While other girls were being steered away from science, Alice was mixing chemicals in her family's darkroom, discovering the precise art of chemical reactions that would later define her life's work. By age 17, she had earned not one but 2 degrees in pharmaceutical chemistry and pharmacy from the University of Washington, a feat almost unheard of for anyone at that time, let alone a young black woman. Her academic excellence was so remarkable that in 1915, she became the first African American and first woman to graduate with a master's degree from the University of Hawaii. She was immediately offered a teaching position, becoming the university's first female chemistry instructor. But Alice's story isn't just about breaking barriers. It's about a brilliant mind that saw solutions where others saw only problems. In an era when women were expected to become teachers or nurses if they worked at all, Alice was conducting groundbreaking research in one of the most sophisticated laboratories in the Pacific. In the early 1900s, leprosy, now known as Hansen's disease, was a death sentence. Patients were torn from their families and exiled to isolation colonies, like the infamous Kalapapa settlement on Molokai. The only known treatment was chalmugra oil, extracted from the seeds of a tree native to South Asia. But, in its natural form, the oil was nearly unusable. Too sticky to inject, too harsh to swallow, and often made patients violently ill. Dr. Harry T. Holman, a surgeon at Kalihi Hospital in Hawaii, had been wrestling with this problem for years. He had watched countless patients suffer, unable to properly deliver the one substance that might help them. When he heard about the brilliant young chemist at the university, he approached her with what seemed like an impossible challenge: find a way to make chalmugra oil injectable. Alice faced not just scientific hurdles, but systemic racism and sexism. Many questioned why a black woman was given such important research. Some male colleagues refused to share equipment or laboratory space. She worked long hours in isolation, often late into the night when others had gone home. The pressure was immense. Thousands of lives hung in the balance, and failure would reinforce every stereotype about women and minorities in science. Alice approached the problem with remarkable insight. She realized that to make the oil injectable, she needed to isolate its active compounds and convert them into water-soluble esters. This required developing an entirely new chemical process, one that had never been attempted before. Over countless hours, she experimented with different chemical combinations, testing and refining her technique. She had to be precise. Too strong a solution would be toxic. Too weak would be ineffective. The work was painstaking and dangerous, involving volatile chemicals and precise measurements. Finally, after months of research, she cracked it. Alice developed what became known as the Ball method, a technique to isolate the active compounds of chalmugra oil and convert them into an injectable form that could be absorbed by the body. Her solution was elegant and effective. She created ethyl ester compounds that retained the oil's therapeutic properties while making it both injectable and absorbable. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Patients who had been suffering for years began to recover. For the first time, there was hope for those diagnosed with leprosy. Her method would become the standard treatment for leprosy until sulfone drugs were developed in the 1940s. The medical community was amazed. Alice Ball had accomplished what countless researchers before her had failed to do. At just 23 years old, she had developed the first effective treatment for one of history's most feared diseases. Tragically, Alice Ball would never see the full impact of her discovery. In late 1916, while teaching a chemistry class, she was exposed to chlorine gas during a demonstration. She became severely ill and returned to Seattle for treatment, where she died on December 31, 1916, at just 24 years old. What happened next was perhaps even more tragic. Dr. Arthur Dean, the president of the University of Hawaii, continued her research after her death. But instead of crediting Alice, he attached his own name to the process, calling it the Dean method. For decades, Dean received recognition for Alice's groundbreaking work. The historical erasure was systematic and complete. Her name was removed from scientific publications. Her role was minimized, then forgotten. The young black woman who had revolutionized leprosy treatment became a ghost in the halls of medical history. For almost 90 years, Alice Ball's contribution remained in the shadows. Her obituary didn't mention her groundbreaking research. The University of Hawaii, where she had made history as both student and teacher, held no record of her achievement. The thousands of patients who were cured using her method never knew her name. But truth has a way of resurfacing. In 2000, the University of Hawaii finally acknowledged Alice Ball's contributions. They installed a plaque in her honor on the university's only Selma Grat tree. In 2007, the university awarded her a posthumous Medal of Distinction. The governor of Hawaii declared February 29th Alice Ball Day. Today, Alice Ball's story resonates more powerfully than ever. She represents not just scientific brilliance, but the countless overlooked innovators whose contributions have shaped our world. Her story raises uncomfortable questions about who gets credit for scientific discoveries and why. Some names are remembered while others are erased. The Ball method saved thousands of lives and remained the primary treatment for leprosy for over 30 years. Patients were able to leave isolation, reunite with their families, and live normal lives. All because a young black woman refused to accept the limitations placed on her by society. Alice Ball's legacy extends beyond her scientific breakthrough. She stands as a testament to perseverance in the face of prejudice, to brilliance that cannot be constrained by bias. Her story reminds us that genius knows no gender or race, and that some of humanity's greatest achievements have come from those who society tried to silence. As we close this chapter of forgotten history, consider how many other Alice Balls might be out there. Brilliant minds whose stories are waiting to be told, whose contributions are waiting to be acknowledged. In an age when we're finally beginning to recognize the diverse voices that have shaped science, Alice Ball's story isn't just history, it's a call to action. If you've been moved by Alice's story, take a moment to share it. Leave a comment about what surprised you most, or how her journey resonates with challenges we still face today. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of forgotten geniuses who changed the world. Because only by remembering these hidden figures can we ensure that brilliance, wherever it appears, is never again erased from history.